Galina, stop, just wait, one of her classmates shouted at the girl when she was ready to run down the stairs and leave the institute for a weekend. Well, what? With a sigh of disappointment, Galina stopped and nervously looked at her wristwatch. It was 3:30, which meant the girl had very little time left. She couldn't be late that day since it was her first day at work. She couldn't fail it without even showing up at the office. It was impossible. Why are you so nervous, Galina? Where are you going? It's Friday. Stop and chat with your friends. You're always running away somewhere, Marina said, stretching out her vowels. She was the complete opposite of Galina. Slow, long-bodied, quite plump, and constantly relaxed. The girl did not understand where and why one could rush at that time. She thought there was no need to hurry in life. Marina, I'm late for work today. I cannot talk long. Do you have something urgent? It's about studies? Galina asked abruptly and quickly, looking at her watch again. She seemed to be on time for the bus but was still worried. Honestly, the girl was nervous all day. She kept turning over the possible scenarios and couldn't calm down. What if she said something wrong? What if she dropped some valuable vase? Or even worse, what if she stumbled and fell? That would be a failure. She couldn't let it happen. Oh no, no studies. On the contrary, I want to invite you to have some fun in the evening. Let's go with the girls to Volcano. Cool, yeah? Alika has got the invitations. Marina squealed carefree, imagining herself in high heels on the dance floor. She even signed up to get her hair done at the salon to amaze everyone. She was going to be in the spotlight that day. What kind of volcano? Is it a cafe? Galina asked thoughtfully, more out of curiosity given to the girl from birth than out of interest. She heard that name for the first time. Are you kidding? Haven't you ever heard of Volcano? Oh, I knew you were from the province, but not that much. That's the best club in town. The chance of getting there is about 1 in a million. Attendance by invitation only, and to receive an invitation, you have to be someone. These are local bigwigs, entrepreneurs, and models. All those rich and famous people who have succeeded in life. And finally, we'll get there too. That's a great chance to meet someone. I expect at least the son of an oligarch. That's awesome, right? I even promised Alika to write a report for her. Marina started chattering and laughed with a carefree laugh. She was only thinking about clothing, precious jewelry, and rich men. It was hard to say why and how Marina even entered the institute. She was not interested in studying at all. I see. It's a club. I get it. Great, I'm happy for you girls. But I cannot go today. I have to work. So have fun, Galina said and was about to leave when the tenacious hand of her classmate grabbed her elbow. Stop. What are you doing? Are you insane? What kind of work? What could be more important than this? Did someone die? If not, then you should go with us. It's the party of the month. Hell, even the year. I don't know when we can get to this place again. Haven't you dreamed about this? All girls do, she said with confidence, trying to reason with the girl. Marina's friends nodded and said Galina behaved like a fool. It was indecent to decline such an invitation. I have to work. Today is the first day, so I cannot be late, much less leave early. Sorry, I would love to go with you, but not this time. Bye, Galina blurted out and, snatching her hand away, ran down the stairs. She could not believe it. They detained her for the goddamn club. That was beyond all understanding. Did the girls need nothing other than having fun? How stupid they were. Did you hear? She has to work. She cannot be late. What the hell is this? It seems like we shouldn't have invited her to our company. It looks like she's not like you at all, Marina said thoughtfully. Of course. I told you about it from the very beginning, from the 1st of September. She understands nothing in life. She only wants to sit in class and follow the schedule, one of Marina's friends said with disgust. Hell yeah, I realized that as soon as she moved into the dorm. I'm sure she is inadequate. I told her, let's call the boys so they can move the fridge. We'll get to know each other as well. You know what she said? She said the boys would only get in the way. We didn't need them. And she moved the fridge herself. She's a country bumpkin, another friend added. Did you look in her closet? It's pure squalor. When she moved, I didn't even understand what happened. She had one suitcase. She has only 3 dresses, which she doesn't even wear. Another girl readily leaked the secret information. They continued to whisper and unanimously declared she was no match for them. Meanwhile, Galina hurried to work. She didn't think about boys and other girly things, since she had many other problems. Before coming of age, Galina lived in the village with her grandparents. They were not even her relatives, but adopted the girl from an orphanage when she was little. She spent her entire childhood working in the vegetable garden and visiting neighbors. The girl never found out who her biological parents were and tried not to think about it. She never blamed them. She probably knew her parents had good reasons and strong willpower to leave their child in an orphanage. Sometimes when she felt despondent, she would crawl into some secluded place and imagine how she could spend time with her parents. In her dreams, she had a complete family with her mom, dad, and brothers and sisters. In her fantasies, her parents took her to amusement parks and cinemas. Of course, they would live in the city since it was much more exciting than the village. Her mother would probably teach her to cook various exotic dishes. In the evenings, they would embroider or do some other handicraft. They would wait for her dad to come home from work and meet him at the door. Galina would run as fast as she could when she saw him on the street. Oh, how she would love them. More than life. They would be the best and friendliest family in the world. She would love to play football and other team games with her brothers. She would help her sisters comb their dolls and play house. Dad would teach her to ride a bike and fish. And on weekends, the whole family would go hiking in the mountains. Isn't it wonderful? Of course, she always secretly dreamed of finding her parents. She hoped they were alive and did not lead an immoral lifestyle. She came several times to the orphanage from where her grandparents took her, but it was unsuccessful. At first, they didn't want to let the girl in because of her young age. Then they insisted that she had to reach adulthood to have the right to find out about her parents. And in the end, there was a fire in the orphanage, in which all the documents that could reveal at least some truth burned. When Galina came there for the last time, it was already too late to find out anything. There was no contact with employees, official papers disappeared, and she was left an orphan with no hope of ever knowing the truth. The family in which she grew up had a lot of brothers and sisters, siblings, cousins, and second cousins. They all came to the village in the summer, and the real fun began. But sometimes Galina felt lonely. She lacked that emotional closeness that can only arise between blood relatives. But she always knew her family was waiting for her and loved her. She adored her family, but did not love the remote village where she grew up. She always thought she was cramped there and believed she would live in a big city. But that required a lot of effort. That was why Galina would run like hell to the first shift in her life. 2 days ago, she came for an interview at a cleaning service. At first, Galina wanted to become a waitress, but she couldn't stand working on her feet for long hours. Besides, the working hours did not coincide with the institute schedule, but she didn't want to miss her classes. In addition, on the second day of work, she came across a table with drunk, disgusting men trying to grope all the girls around. Galina didn't like that and tried to show her temper. At that very second, the manager asked her to leave the restaurant. "You knew where you were going. Why are you fussing now? Are you the smartest one here? Are you showing your courage? We don't need people like you. Don't come here anymore," the manager told her rudely, throwing the girl out into the street. Fortunately, her colleagues took pity on her and at least allowed her to split the tips, so the work was not completely useless. After that incident, Galina decided she needed a quieter place with good pay and the minimum abilities required. The cleaning suited best. They examined her from head to toe, asked several questions regarding her way of life, and didn't even pay attention to the answers. Well, even if you don't know how to do anything, don't worry, we'll teach you everything. The work is physically demanding, but not mentally. Anyone can do it. At her peril and risk, Galina told her boss about what happened at the restaurant to be sure such incidents would not occur there. She was afraid they would laugh at her and refuse her, saying if she went to work as a maid, she should flash her panties in front of the owner and bend over languidly while washing the floors. Fortunately, everything was fine. The boss assured her that such situations have never happened and cannot happen since girls most often work only when the owners are not at home. And it's not even our whim, it's just more convenient for everyone. Our customers, for the most part, are extremely busy people, so they have no time to watch you work. Sometimes a cook may be in the house, but that's it, so don't worry, no one will harass you. If something happens, call us immediately. We won't tolerate this. The main thing in our work is cleanliness and accuracy, and don't even think about taking or trying anything. Many houses have cameras. If the owners report something valuable missing, You will take the responsibility. You will have to compensate for the damage and lose your work. So, I don't recommend it," the woman finished sternly, looking at Galina. The girl gave the impression of a decent person, so the last words were only a precaution. It was clear that stealing from the rich was not a good idea. During the first days, they did not allow Galina to work alone. One experienced employee was supposed to monitor her work, check it, make comments, and help in every possible way so there were no mistakes. "So look, darling, we have window washing, garbage disposal, and vacuum cleaning on order. And please, no initiative. If the owner doesn't tell you to wipe off the dust, don't do that, even if you see dirt somewhere. Okay? I've been punished for something like that once. Galina's colleague who advised her on the first day. Use this product for furniture if you see stains. These are for ceramic coatings, wood and glass. This one is for heavy dirt on tiles. Always read what is written on the bottle to avoid confusion. God forbid you spoil something. If the order says we should work with the owner's products, do so. Don't be cunning. We don't need problems." The girl continued her explanations for several more days. To fit in was even easier than Galina had imagined. After only 3 days, she visited the apartments without fear. During all that time, she never had to meet the owners or get into any uncomfortable situation. Most apartments needed only light cosmetic cleaning. Dusting, washing the floors, vacuuming the carpets, washing and drying the dishes, starting the laundry and drying the clothes. Many rich people even had robotic vacuum cleaners and dishwashers, so Galina had to figure out how to use them and start the cycle. As easy as pie. She loved the work and the fact she could earn a decent amount without much physical effort within a few hours a day after studying. After working daily in the village, that work seemed quite unpretentious to her. The only thing that bothered her was her classmates. After that story with the club, they somehow found out she got a job as a cleaner. Not a day went by without someone reminding her of that. They laughed at Galina and called her a schmuck, a poor relation, a charwoman, and even an orphan when someone told others she was an adopted child. It was not so much painful and offensive as it was unexpected. In the village, everyone loved the girl. No one dared to say unkind things about her relatives. All the neighbors seemed to be friendly and understanding people. But the city was different. For some reason, they all wanted to hurt your feelings and twist the knife in your wound. But things were only going to get worse. One event divided Galina's life into before and after, when she ended up in one creepy house. From the outside, it seemed regular, perhaps too dirty for a wealthy family. That didn't scare the girl. She just realized she would have to spend more than 1 hour on cleaning, and was glad they should pay well. She began collecting trash from room to room and stopped dead when she noticed one detail. That would not have caught the eye of any stranger, but that scared Galina to death. The photos. The house was full of photographs of the loving family. There were pictures of a happy and smiling father and mother, with a girl sitting between them. Her face changed from photo to photo. At first, she was just a baby, about 5 or 6 years old. Then she was a teenager, and in the last photos there was a fully grown adult girl. And what struck Galina was her face. In all the photographs, Galina's eyes were looking at her. No, of course, she and the owner's daughter had different eyes, even hair of different colors and lengths. The rich girl loved to experiment with hairstyles, but Galina never even colored her hair. The owner's daughter often wore bright, provocative makeup, but there could be no doubt. Galina discovered with surprise and horror that the photographs depicted her exact copy. She even quietly sat on the owner's sofa in her uniform, which was prohibited. She looked at herself in the mirror, then at the photographs, and couldn't believe it. That looked incredible. The resemblance was striking, but that could not be the truth. What was the probability she would meet her replica in a foreign city? 0. Galina stood up in panic several times, began to rush throughout the room, grabbed her head, looked around, and sat down again. She didn't know what to do, who to call, and what to tell. And who would believe her? Maybe that wasn't for real? What if that was an optical illusion, or a silly joke? What about a 1 in a million coincidence? No, I cannot continue living like that. She decided and made a firm decision. She urgently needed to make sure she was not crazy and was not happy in vain. She decided there was no better way to get to the truth than to find it herself. Should the family have some documents, any names or addresses? Was there anything that could help her figure out what was happening? The girl had no idea what that anything looked like. She acted only intuitively. Galina began to open all the drawers and carefully examined them. She tried to act as quickly as possible. Galina didn't want to catch anyone's eye or spoil anything. After all, she didn't know when the owners would come. They would not be happy to see a girl rummaging through their belongings. It even looked like some stupid attempt at theft. The girl even forgot cameras might be in the house, or she tried not to think about it. Finally, she found some folders. Some more family photographs, albums, and notebooks. Some encrypted records and hiding places. Damn, that was all nothing. That won't help her get any closer to the solution. That was when a man silently entered the apartment and discovered the girl. His face was not familiar to Galina, since she had never seen him in the family's photographs. He stopped behind the girl, looked at her puzzled, took a pistol out of his holster, and said in an angelic voice, "Stand still and don't move. Who are you? And what are you doing in this house? I'm holding you at gunpoint. You won't get away with it just like that. You can only surrender voluntarily." It was clear from his voice the man was not joking. Once Galina heard him, she immediately dropped everything from her hands and turned around. Her heart beat faster, her hands shook, and her mind got confused. Who was she? Who gave her the right to rummage through other people's things? In broken language, she began to explain something to the man. She said she was just a cleaning lady and not a burglar. "And what were you cleaning in the drawers with documents?" the man asked ironically. Of course, she didn't have an answer. She had to mumble something, apologize and beg for mercy, citing her youth and stupidity. She tried to justify herself, said something about her family, and pointed at the photographs. But the man didn't even want to listen. At first, he was going to give her to the police, but then he took pity on the young, frightened girl. He carefully checked her pockets and made her go away. The man was the personal driver of the head of the family. He threatened she wouldn't get off that easy next time, and advised her to reconsider her priorities. Then he called the company where she worked and yelled at the bosses so menacingly that the walls shook. Of course, they were surprised. They tried to deny everything and convinced the man the girl was young, had just started working, and was in good standing. But he didn't want to listen. He only insisted that she be fired without any questions and promised not to contact the police. The man decided his owners did not need to know about this incident. He found a new cleaner from another company, since he had some experience in personnel selection. The company fired Galina and hid this story from other clients and employees. Of course, she tried many times to return to the house, reach out to the owners, explain everything, and make herself known. She missed the classes to wait for them near the entrance, but she never found anyone. The family never appeared at home or came so late Galina could not catch them. But one day, she got lucky. The man from the photos opened the door. His beautiful wife was standing next to him. They agreed to listen to the girl's story. In the middle of the conversation, the woman burst out crying. It turned out she was Galina's mother. Once upon a time, when she was very young and stupid, she gave birth to twins. Her boyfriend left her, and she had no money to support her children. And then, the woman made the hardest decision in her life. She agreed to send one of her daughters to an orphanage. Of course, she regretted it a million times and considered it the most terrible thing she had ever done. But she couldn't take anything back. When she tried to find her daughter, the orphanage had already burned down and no contacts were left. So, she lived her whole life in fear that she had lost her beloved child. The man was a stepfather and had no idea he might have another adopted daughter. But Galina's twin sister was not at all surprised. I always felt I was not alone in this world. I asked my mother for a sister. I told her I already had a sister as if I knew something. Now I understand those were not empty guesses. They gladly accepted the girl into her family, gave her a room, and told her she would not have to work unless she wanted to. They sometimes remembered the cleaning company with laughter and surprise. Who would have thought cleaning would help the girl find her parents? When Galina's grandparents found out what had happened, they couldn't believe it and insisted it was a hoax, worrying about their beloved daughter. However, after meeting new relatives, they were convinced the girl was happy there and calmed down. Her happiness was the main thing.